and welcome to our last interview of the day, the show wrap-up. I'm delighted to be joined by Petra Haarburger, who's basically ahead of the Mesago shows, all of them, including SMTconnect.
Yeah, definitely. But today it's about SMTconnect, I guess, because
Absolutely.
This is what we're here for, right?
Absolutely. Well, you know, this is the third day, Petra, and I know there's been a lot of happy exhibitors here, but what have been the main takeaways that you've had from the show?
Well, I think the main takeaways is the happy faces I've seen. And happy faces because everybody saw the customer in person again, and that there's nothing else but, or not nothing else, but the most important thing is the personal interaction and the personal meetings. And I think everybody here was here to really make business, to meet the customers, to meet and look for solutions. And this is what I saw on the show floor and on the different booths. And that was just wonderful to see it.
Yeah, I believe you. I mean, it's very hard to replace in-person meetings, you know. I think it's one thing where we were forced to do meetings over Zoom and this type of thing when you're talking to customers, but you miss out some of the body language, the interaction, etc. Yeah. Not to mention you don't get to see the machines. So I think that it's critical that we get back to having in-person events.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think what you just said, in addition, some digital tools are good. And I think that will remain. But I think at the end, it all comes back to this physical meeting, and the rest, I would say, is digital additions that help to maybe foster what you met or saw in the show floor and then continue talking about it or maybe do it in advance. So I think it was really cool being here. And
right. So do you think then in the future that these shows are going to be more hybrid events in as much that if you've got a real reason to be here, you will be here, you'll have your in-person meeting, but those that can't get permission to come, for example, will tune in from remotely?
Well, the question is, what is hybrid? You know,
Right.
The question is, what is a hybrid event? And what we've learned throughout the last 2 years is that some things work digitally. I mean, maybe just content-wise, you know, you can just maybe listen to some lectures or something. But if it comes to business, I think then you need the person-to-person meeting. You need this body language thing, this interchange, and also to look as, is that what the one you want to do business with? You know, it's a personal thing. But getting to the hybrid, I think hybrid will not actually happen in parallel. I think most people, if you're here on the show floor, you will probably not have any time to do something digital in between. But this will be something where I think it's maybe in advance, maybe for preparation, maybe like a warm-up event, maybe where you can maybe already see what's happening on the show floor, prepare yourself, maybe even doing some, I don't know, connections in before, and then you meet on the show floor, and then maybe what you said, if there's some maybe streaming of certain forums or something, I think that might be something that might be interesting for people who could not come to at least get a little bit of a glimpse of what's happening on the show floor. Yeah. So I think it's more of a digital edition with ADD and not a digital edition with E. So this is, I think, what will happen.
What will happen, yeah. Okay. What's the plans for going forward? I mean, do you think there's been quite a lot of discussion this week about PCIM, which is the next door show? It seems to have been quite a bit busier than SMTconnect.
Well, I guess this is always this perception, is it busy or not? I mean, we will look at the numbers at the end. I think we were really happy with what happened here. And I think the PCIM, I mean, it's the power electronics, is a very rising technology at the moment. So I think there's a lot of business there. And we have a conference there in parallel. So I think it's not really something you can compare. So I think from what I learned here, when interviewing and looking at some of our exhibitors, they were really happy. So, and I think you just said something that it's not about the quantity at the end. It's about the quality, and I think the business been made with maybe 5 people is more important than the business you don't do with 10 people who just wanted to look.
That's absolutely true. As I said, you know, in some bigger shows where you've got a lot of traffic going past your booth, you end up with somebody coming on and asking, how does this work? Who's got no intention of buying it, doesn't know anything about it. He's just curious. But then, on the other hand, the customer that you do need to speak to is walking past because he sees you're busy. So there's absolutely an argument for having a quieter but more focused event with real customers, real buyers on the floor.
Yeah. And I also think that this will be the future, actually, that this more, I would say, specific, very targeted, maybe little smaller events, I think will be more successful than the big shows, because, as you said, I think it's harder also for the visitors to find where do you want to go, what's the solution you look for. And I think here it's quite clear, because it's a very focused show on the electronic production. So I think this is good.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely agree. So what's next? Do you get any plans or ideas for the show going forward?
Well, I think, as I said, I think now everybody's happy to meet again. And what we think about is actually also prolonging something. I mean, you have probably heard about the insights that we started. This is exactly this content-driven topics that you can do digitally, where it's really about what's happening, about the technology. It's not about buying something, but it's about being educated. So I think to grow that further and to see what the community really wants.
Right.
This is something we work on, because this is something we've learned during the last 2 years,
Yeah.
that things do work. And we do this together with our customers. So what we do is we're in contact, we discuss with them what they need, what they want. And especially after these 2 years, I think you already experienced that as well, this digital fatigue in a certain way, which is there. So I think it might also take some time until we really find out what's the right balance between this maybe digital educational stuff and the show where everybody wants to go.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
And then after we've worked all that out, we'll all be the next thing will be the metaverse.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess as you said, I think this. Let's just go through this and experience this, and also I think celebrate this a little bit, because I think this is why people are happy, is because they meet.
Yeah.
And the rest, I think, as I said, I think it's very clear that this will remain, this digital versions. We will see what happens, but this is also very, very dependent on the different communities.
Yeah.
Because you just said we have different shows at Mesago as well, and you can see, let's put it like that, the AM community, additive manufacturing, they are completely different when it comes to digital than the SMT community.
Yes.
Yeah, so and this is something we have to look at. It's not like what we want. The important thing is what the customers want and what serves them.
Right.
And this is what we will look at.
Yeah, it's definitely not one size fits all, but
No.
but certainly what I can say, Petra, is that it's absolutely worth celebrating the fact that we returned to SMTconnect this year. It's been a very successful show for a lot of people. There's a lot of happy faces around here, so congratulations and thank you for coming
and
in.
thanks for having me. And hope you get back with lots of good ideas and also good memories from here. That's wonderful.
Absolutely, I always do.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trevor.
Okay.